Coming up on Gopher Football with Jerry Kill, we go inside Golden Gopher Football.
There's just, again, all the national exposure. You just can't put a price on that.
And Coach Kill shows you what worked in the film room.
We get them all flowing this, we get them all flowing this way. We get the linebackers stuck in.
And find out how the Maroon and Gold used the bye week to prepare for Wisconsin.
You got to do everything you can to make sure they, those backs don't get going. And
it's your weekly look inside Golden Gopher Football, and it starts right now. Welcome to the latest edition of Gopher Football with Jerry Kill. It's your weekly look inside the Golden Gopher Football program, and I'm your host, Natalie Nias. The Golden Gophers are enjoying a fantastic season. Year 3 of the Jerry Kill era has delivered 8 wins for the first time since 2003. To take us through the season so far, Mike Max joins head coach Jerry Kill in the Hall of Fame room.
Thanks, Natalie. The week is finally here. The Gophers in Wisconsin, and it is significant. Coach Kill, you had a week, rare that you have 2 bye weeks during the year. That's the way it's set up now, and so that offered you an opportunity to reflect a little bit on what has been and what will be. What was this past week like for you coming off a big win?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that, the recruiting process.
Yep.
We had to get after it in recruiting, and then, you start watching film on Wisconsin, and you let your kids, we get caught up in the classroom, and we keep them on schedule, give them a little bit of time off, and then start it on Wednesday with practice and just kind of working back into it, try to get some people healed up. And so, a unique week. It's kind of different being this late,
yeah.
But, on one side, you'd like to have kept playing because we're on a pretty good roll.
Yep.
On the other side, if we would have, we've been playing with without a lot of players. So I said, you take the good with the bad, and it was an opportunity for us to watch a very good Wisconsin team on film and work on preparation.
Yeah, I was going to say, we'll get to that later in the show, but all of a sudden you get to Saturday and you go, whoa, because that was a buzzsaw that we saw against Indiana. When you talk about recruiting, we all know you can't talk about specifics, but what does 8-2 and what does the way this thing has unfolded do for your recruiting in terms of the response that you get in the conversations yet?
Well, I think there's just, again, all the national exposure. You just can't put a price on that. And so there's people that you've been recruiting in different states, and also here in Minnesota, all of a sudden, we got some guys that they're getting recruited all over the country, and all of a sudden, that exposure, kids will enjoy that.
Yep.
And so I think the exposure has not only been good for our football program, I think it's been great for our school. And so, with that, it's just like anything. You get more people interested that you would normally get. And so that part of it's been good, and we certainly have tried to capitalize on it, which I think we have.
Last year, the first game that Philip Nelson ever started as a Golden Gopher was at Wisconsin against Wisconsin. Categorized the last year of his development as a quarterback and what we see now from that first day that you sent him out there.
Well, he really, in that first game, and, he found out the night before, he's going to be the starter. And in that first game, we were going back, I believe it was 17-11 going into the middle of the third quarter. And he really had a good showing and really handled himself well. But, as we progressed and where he's progressed to this point is a credit to him because, any time you're young, you're going to have ups and downs and ups and downs, and then all of a sudden you'll hit a consistent path, and that's when you start to really develop as a quarterback, and that's what he's done over a period of time.
He doesn't throw many bad balls. You talk about turnovers and how important that is from that position. You don't see him making that mistake. It looks like he has learned, and he's always been pretty good at it, but it's either there or it's out of bounds or it's somewhere he can't catch it.
Well, there's no question about that, and you look at over just the past 4 weeks, we haven't turned the ball over, and we've thrown and caught the ball better, and we made plays through the air, and that's made us a different style of team. And that's what really the team we're going to play, and actually the next 2 teams we're going to play is their play action passing and running the football. And if you take the run, they hurt you with the throw. So I think we're starting to develop that mentality, and along this way, he's gained some confidence, and even Mitch Leitner's gained that confidence. So that's a good situation for us.
Defensively, as you look at this season and how it's unfolded, has the defensive line in some respects I don't even want to say it's a pleasant surprise, but they've made plays, and they've made plays on third down this year throughout, disrupted enough, throwing guys off their timing, the quarterbacks, things like that. Categorically, have they been as good and as important to this team as a group as any?
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that, and it's been a combination. I think it's helped the secondary play
lot,
better
yeah.
because you get more pressure, and you watch football, and you got to get a quarterback uncomfortable, get him off balance, and I think the emergence of TC coming out, leading the Big Ten in sacks, and of course the big fella in there, Rashid Hageman, and those guys have played very well under the guidance of Jeff Phelps. And then I think Coach Clays, you visited with him several times, is that he's no D-line coach, so I mean he believes in what they're doing, and there's no question, and they'll be a key the next two games. They've got to play well.
Yep. This week, what's it like to temper the guys and say, everybody understands what it's like to play Wisconsin, then you throw in how big it is. Tell me about that. How do you take them to peak by Saturday and not peak too early, and all those things that coaches worry about?
I think all the things we've done to this point, and I've certainly talked to them, and all our coaches are on the same page, is that, hey, we don't play until Saturday, and the future or the past really doesn't matter right now. It's today, and if you don't do what you need to do today, then Saturday's not going to mean a whole lot to you because you're not going to do well. So our kids have, over this period of time, we just don't talk about a lot. They already know the importance of Wisconsin. They all already know about the accent. I can tell you through ESPN, social media, the local media, they know what's online. So we really don't have to talk about it. Everybody else does.
Yep.
Our job is just to make sure, like you said, is just they stay even keeled. And when you have success and you've been even keeled, those kids aren't any different from me being superstitious. They want to keep the same, same routine. Let's don't say too much and just focus in on what we need to do. And you look at most sports games, usually you don't win them, the other team loses them. And we don't want to be in a situation where, like Nebraska had 5 turnovers last week, and we're still in the game.
Yep.
But we can't afford to do that. We got to do what we've been doing, and we control that. We control our preparation. And so as coaches and players, to this point, we've handled it pretty good, and we'll see how we handle it going into this week, but I have a good feeling that these kids understand.
You can feel it. We'll talk about those Badgers a bit later in the show. The Gophers in Wisconsin with a lot on the line.
When we return, Mike Max will join Coach Kill in the film room to break down a couple of standout Gopher plays.
We get them all flowing this, we get them all flowing this way. We get the linebackers stuck in, we get the tight end going in the middle.